Everything is visible now. Look at that. We have visibility. Oh, I hope you are doing fantastic today. And if you're not doing fantastic, I hope that your day improves tremendously. It's Saturday. It's one of the best days that you can have. And of course, that's not entirely true because there are days we can have that are better than Saturday. Needed a little drink there just to keep everything functioning, keep everything well moving. I want to talk to you a little bit. I'm going to start drawing, but I'm going to draw and I'm going to talk. And that is what we're about to do. Draw and talk. There's a lot to talk about. I've been a little inconsistent as of late in many areas. Many areas, some inconsistency. And that inconsistency actually has ranged all over the place in what the inconsistencies are. Whether we're talking about streaming or we're talking about, well, anything really. The streaming, the work, my posts, even just having pictures up, things that we all can share in. There has been a lot of inconsistency. And I acknowledge that, and also I want to talk about it a little bit. So, obviously, I've already gotten some stuff on my page here. Oopsie daisy. So, obviously, when it comes to my work and the time we spend together, there's a lot going on. There's a lot more than just what is seen on camera. And I'm sure a lot of you understand when it comes to that. Creators are not always here. We're not always on. We're not always visible. We're not always doing what you think we should be doing. Actually, you know what? Let's backtrack. So this month, a lot has been going on, and I would like to talk about some of those things with you. Obviously there was let's try not to break the charcoal as we go. There's been things like I had no workshop this month. Streaming has been really inconsistent. There's been a lot of things going on, but not all of it is inherently visible to all of you. Some things are invisible. They're not here. They're not apparent. And because they're not apparent, it can seem like I'm disappearing, like I'm not here. Well, let me start off first by saying, I am here. I'm going to be here. But as of late, I have things that I feel I need to figure out. A lot of things, actually. And all of these various things, they're... what's the best way to say? They're unique in what they are. They're unique in... see, I've already started off terribly, so let's backtrack. Quick note. And I think that's actually a good place to start, is a quick note, a quick acknowledgement. When it comes to, when it comes to everything from what I'm doing to how I'm creating, what I'm doing, and where I'm present. And that last part is actually really important. How I'm present. And that presence is complicated. That presence is not just complicated, it's there's a lot to it. There's a lot more than just what meets the eye. And some of the things that you, as the viewer, as like part of the community, see, one of the things you see is my output. I mean, we all know that is a normal part of the whole setup, right? With creators, there's an acknowledgement that our output is only visible when it's visible. That's obvious. Like, though, even the way I just said that, that's obvious. That's something that you should know. It's there. It can be hard to really properly say everything that's on my mind and everything that's going on. I Okay, so let's acknowledge a struggle. I'm going to acknowledge a couple of things. And I realize even right now, like, the way I'm doing this, the way I'm going about this current live stream, the way I've gone about a lot of things recently has been unusual, to say the least. Unusual, to say the least. Oh my goodness. I have a lot going on. And because I have a lot going on, it can seem like I'm not here. Like I'm not here for the community I've been building. Like I'm not here for all of you. But I am here for all of you. I'm here for all of you. I'm here for all of this. I'm here for a lot. There's things that sometimes need acknowledgement. And one of the things that I know I need to acknowledge is that it's getting hard. Like a couple of years ago, it was no problem for me to get on and to stream 6 days a week. Every morning I'd be here, you'd see me, or almost every morning, I'd be here and you'd see me, and then at night, a few nights a week, I'd be here and you'd see me, and everything made sense. But now, you don't see me the way you used to. And because you don't see me the way you used to, it can be really easy to think, oh, your Saturday night is gone. And let me be clear, I'm not gone. I'm not disappearing. But I am having some struggles. I'm having some struggles. I'm having some issues with my creative process. And these issues, for as much as I wish it wasn't the case, they're there. There's things that come up in our personal lives, in our day-to-day, that if we're not taking care of those things, I'm not doing okay. So, yeah, I haven't been here as regularly as I used to be. I haven't been giving you as much art and content as I used to. I haven't been, talking about movies I'm working on, or, releasing game videos on my other channels, or doing all of those things that kind of came to be expected. And just with that note, actually, let me say something really quick. We have to be forgiving when it comes to not only ourselves, but to the people we watch and engage with. We have to be understanding of artists who give us their time. I'm not the only artist here online, but I am someone who gives you their time. I give you my time, I give you my passion, I give you my creativity. And we get to share it. We get to share this beautiful world of experience. I'm not going to stop creating, and I'm not going to disappear or go away. But I do have to evaluate what it is I'm doing. So that's where the chit-chat portion of this comes in. The conversation. The what's happening. But that's not all that's happening. Obviously, that's not all that's happening. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to delve into. There's a lot to, I won't say explain, make clear. I want to do more. I have a script ready, or at least a rough draft of a script ready, that I think would be tremendous and wonderful. But I don't know if it's what I want to do right now. I don't know if that script is really where I want to put my energy. And I have stories I'm working on, but I don't know if those stories are what I should be doing. There's so much that goes into even something as simple as just coming up with an idea for what I'm going to stream this week. What I'm going to share with you. The people that really I'm making this for. Because if I'm not making this for anyone, why am I doing it? If I'm not fulfilling some concept, some idea, if I'm not creating something that means something to me, then why am I creating anything at all? Now, I know that that's probably a little on the nose when it comes to the way creativity flows. But I have to make things for someone. And for years and years and years, do you know who I made everything for? I made it for myself. I made it specifically and entirely for me. And don't get me wrong, I actually don't think there's anything wrong with that. I was creating for a specific audience. I was doing what I wanted, and it was beautiful. But then there comes the question. And there is a pretty big question here. If everything you're doing is for an audience of you, if everything is to fulfill this ideal of what you want to make, is it really anything? Like, are you just wasting your energy? Now that sounds harsh. It is harsh. just realistic. Every day I have to consider if my time is being well spent, if my energy is being well spent, if what I'm doing has an impact. Am I biding my time? Am I wasting my time? And again, I acknowledge, like, what I'm saying right now seems maybe a little overdramatic. For some of you, it probably will just seem like that. Just, here's another overdramatic artist. Here's someone coming along and thinking too hard on what they're doing, what they're being. How they're received. That's not really an unfair light to paint the activities of a creator in. Are we overthinking what we do? I mean, I struggled with the concept of being called a creator. I mean, really struggled with it. I didn't like it. I didn't like the idea that all I was another internet creator. And that probably sounds strange, but I thought I was, I don't know, something more? Someone more? But really, I was just comparing myself to the people that were out there, which you should not do under any circumstances. Because the moment you start comparing yourself to someone else, the moment you start that process of self-doubt and get that inner conflict brewing, you're the one who's making yourself a failure. You're the one determining how far you're going to get. And a lot of what we do is ultimately determined by ourselves. We make our own destiny. Heck, we determine a lot about ourselves, about where we're going. can and cannot achieve. That's actually one of the more important aspects of this, because since we can actually determine a lot of these aspects of our future growth, we're the ones really, weaving where our destiny may end up. I am an eclectic creator. I am haphazard. I'm unruly. I'm difficult. But I'm also a lot of other things. So that's actually one of the big things that matters. And we could spend a lot of time talking about it. And right now, that's mostly what I'm doing. I am chatting with you. It's a conversation. It's all of these things. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't have anything figured out more than you. More than me. I guess it would help if I knew what you liked, what you enjoyed watching me do. I'm here drawing and painting, making abstract portraits and portraits in general, and then making all of these different kinds of creative works, whether it's completely interpretive or whether it's paint or charcoal, just so many different things. There's a lot of space to kind of say, hey, this is what we really want to see. And I'm not going to lie, I think that would be incredibly helpful to start knowing, to start feeling like I understand what my audience wants. And I bounce between these highs of optimism and these lows of, well, what's the best way to put it? Like, my actual short stories and everything, obviously, a lot of that is really dark. My books, really dark. My work, dark. And here I am, unsure, like, my audience. Who are you? It would be unfair of me to say that I'm lost. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it would be good to just be like, hey, I'm lost, everyone. I'm lost and I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I do. Maybe I do. Maybe I've figured it out. Maybe I'm not lost. Maybe the problem isn't not knowing what you want to see, but not knowing if I can give it. Like, this is not my best drawing. It's not. It's not my best drawing. It's not my best piece. But I am trying. It's got to be worth something. But I don't know. And that's again where I just turn and I say, maybe you can help me understand. Maybe I'm talking to no one. Maybe I'm not reaching anyone at all. A few years ago, it felt like I was reaching someone. It felt like I knew what you wanted. Or liked. I've been online a long time. I won't pretend that that isn't part of the problem. I've been online a long time. I've had to figure out all of this through various algorithms and very different ways that we can express ourselves. I've gotten really good at creating a piece of art in a very short amount of time, which, to be honest, I'm proud of. I'm proud of that. There's definitely pieces that I still want to do and still am interested in doing, and other ones that I'm trying to figure out how I'll do it. So, and there's all of that. But I know I'm still having fun. And I know that when I get on and I start kind of exploring what I can create, what I can do, I like it. I like it. I enjoy it. I like like the discovery process, and art is a huge discovery process. Each part of it is very unique and very. Unique is such an awful word. But let me get to one of the kind of crux of the issue type things. So what started me on this whole thing of Chit Chat really is having a conversation with my BFF and getting into this place of consideration of like what's going on, what we're up to, all these different things. What feels right. And I don't think I'm actually articulating it all very well, but you know, there's a point where you really sit back and you start to wonder about the things you should be spending your time on. I don't think it's even controversial to say, we have moments where we think, oh, is this valuable? So again, I come back to the idea that it's like, okay, I don't have any new movies right now, or at least none that are like ready. I'm not making a lot of public content, but I have ideas. I have lots of ideas. And amongst these ideas are things that, might actually be viable and interesting. And not just viable and interesting, but they might have people who want to see that. Maybe. How am I to know? How am I to know? How am I to find the right spot to put something in? And I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to knock some things right off there. Because sometimes we just got to knock things off our table. Not because we want to, but because that's what we just did. Alright, get those back up. Pick those up. I love drawing. I love painting. I love making and doing. I love getting into things that are multidisciplinary. I love exploring the boundaries of what I'm capable of. What am I capable of? What am I capable of, and what is it that people want to see? Now that last one goes back to really what I've been talking about. What do people want to see? Because I'm just sitting here with a very real acknowledgement that I don't know anymore. I don't know if people want to see the drawing, if people want to see the painting. I know that, like, if people people are going to pay, they want to pay for painting. Not pay for as in buy, but, you know. So, of course, I do realize, I've just been kind of going on and on. But with that said, I like that this is a space where I'm just allowed to do that. Just go on and on. When I was painting beforehand, and I was getting kind of just doing abstract, just entirely abstract work, and I was getting ideas for like color and things from the audience. That was fun, and I say audience because honestly, I don't even know what to call it. Like, there's all this different terminology, and I don't know what's the right terminology, and I can only use what I know, and maybe I'm using all the wrong words. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I'm not using the wrong words. Maybe I just am going about things in my own way, and that's okay. What I do know is I want to continue coming up with ideas. I want to know, like, if I decide to do another movie premiere, that's something that people would actually be interested in. There's a pretty good possibility people would. I'm not sure. Because I find very often it seems like I'm talking to myself now. And there's nothing wrong with that, If I'm talking to myself and that's the way it is, that's the way it is. As long as there's still people out there who join me for some of this, well, then we're in a pretty good spot. At least, conceivably speaking. Conceivably speaking, we're in a pretty good spot. Because I keep coming back, and there's still people who find it interesting. This comes back to some of the things that I was just kind of talking about, though, which I want to... Alright, let me not draw on paper, let me draw an image to your mind. I want to have people that find what I do... Well, okay, no. I want to find people who are interested in what I do. So I want to find out, like, how do I find people who are interested in what I do? And then, how do I connect with them? When it comes to, like, all this idea of, like, audience building, I don't know how you're supposed to approach that. And when it comes to, like, when I talk to the people that I interact with, like, online and on places like LinkedIn or other venues that are at least similar to that, there's this perception of reaching out to people and forming communities, which, okay, it makes sense. It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. At the same time, it's very intimidating. Let's just go ahead and reach out and start talking to people in person and all of this, and that's where I start having issues. Like with this idea of direct community building. And really getting more involved. And it's not that I don't understand the value, it's that idea is just like, what do I even talk to about with people? How do I even create that where it doesn't just seem like shallow, empty, very empty? Which reminds me, speaking of something, depending on where you're joining me, you're going to see some links either in the comments or the description of this video. And those are going to take you to the various places you can find me online. Whether we're talking about my personal website where you can get my art and my merch, my YouTube, my Instagram, I'm on Twitter. I know that's called X now, but no, I'm not using that terminology. Don't want to. It's stupid, and it ruined the brand, because now you post, and there's no tweeting anymore. No, that's just, let's just take something and ruin it. Don't want to do it. Don't want to participate in that. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe that's my problem after all. I don't know. How am I supposed to know? I do my best. I do my best. And though my best is not always great, it is just that. It is me trying my best to understand, to participate. You can only do so much, right? You can only get so far. Oh. I will say one thing. I'm really enjoying like how good I'm getting at being able to do a pretty solid drawing in a pretty small amount of time. Um, Artistically, skill wise, I feel I'm doing really well. Even if direction wise, I am lost and confused. So lost and so confused. Do I have to do what I'm doing right now? No, I don't. Do I want to? Yes, I do. Because we had all that flat white. Let's go ahead and, just mess up that flat white. Get in its way. Add some texture. Now that I've done that, a little bit of that. Just little details. Tiny stuff actually can do a whole lot. So that leaves pretty much the only spot of this that's like kind of flat blank white for the most part is within the face. It looks really good. I enjoy the way it appears. I've already reached such a point of I won't even call it completion so much as the point where right now this drawing looks really good. Or at least it looks like it's getting to a completion point, and that completion point is really where I want to be able to do stuff like pull back and stop. Which that's hard to do. I don't know if you've ever found yourself in the position where you're trying to figure out, like, where do you stop? But if you have, I'm sure you understand, like, actually figuring out where that is hard. Like, at this point in time, the only thing that I think I could do is start creating some sort of decorative background. But I don't know if I want to do that. I have no idea. We have some good fabric going. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead. Add a little bit of kind of some sort of textural change to the clothes. It's not much, but it is something. It is something. You know what? Because we have that blue there. Like that there. It's not much, but it is something. It changes the vibe, it changes the feel. There's like the hair is going all over the place. There's definitely a lot of like, I don't know. We have pose, we have position, we have a lot of the major details filled in. This is what I call a good piece. It's good. It's a good piece of artwork. It encapsulates areas that I'd like to talk about, like in regards to my style, which is one, using a very rough texture. I like it rough. I don't like things. So, oftentimes in stuff like hair, there's a lot of leaning in when you get to fine art to do it more as a few individual strands, but for the most part, it's tones of light and dark. Here I have chaos, just kind of lots of things going on, lots of things that don't work together, but create what, in my opinion, looks more like hair. For the skin, I usually go very subtle on shading with a few kind of key points, and this I think definitely gets that. Um, and then with the eyes, this is very clearly not very, it's not real eyes so much as it is eyes. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to make that real dark. And we have mismatched eyes. I really like mismatched eyes. Things like that. Heavy shadow mixed with very light shadow. Some decent elements in regards to the facial structure. It's not symmetrical. It's more natural because we do have a bit of symmetry, but we also have asymmetry. Yeah. There's just. Actually, I'm gonna grab my stack of drawings over here. So I've been going through and kind of organizing things. So let's talk about a few of my drawings. You can kind of see what I mean in something like this. There's some asymmetry to it. There's also, so this one's a little bit different because it's really like stark whites with super dark with midtones, and it's less detailed. Here you can kind of see what I mean about the hair. A lot more individual strands, things like that. But kind of looking away, there's an asymmetry to the eyes, makes them look a little bit better. Now this one I'm really proud of because I think that's probably like my most realistic face. This one I'm stupendously proud of, and I actually want to go back and do more with it. But that one's using a lot more shade and variance. A lot of shade, a lot of variance. It's a really good piece. But it's also kind of like alive. It's got a lot of pop to it. Here's one that's a lot more darks and tonality. And I have like all these different kinds of art. Okay, so this one's a lot more like hashing and lines and everything. Like hash, 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 line, line, line. Very rough pencil work. Very rough pencil work. And then you have something like this. That one's actually really good. I like. So, and here's one of the asymmetry in the eyes things. So I cover up one eye, I leave the other one visible so we can really get that pop to it. Here's another that's just a recent one. Now there's asymmetry to the eyes. There's a lot more individual hairs here for the eyebrows, the head, all of that. I have so many drawings in this stack. So many drawings. And not all of them are the same, but, and then I have something like this, that's kind of more playful, and then there's no individual hairs whatsoever here. There's just the implication of where hair should be. The eyes are asymmetrical. The face is really light on detail. And that's a lot of lights and darks. A lot of lights and darks. A lot of different things going on. But let's just go ahead. I'm going to get all of these out of your way. We're going to go back to just the piece of the day, which is this. And when it comes to various sketches and drawings, I don't even know necessarily what I want to make, so much as that I want to make stuff. I want to make stuff. I want to do stuff. I want to... Oh my. I want to create something interesting. I just don't know where I'm going with all of it. And I don't know how I'm going to get there. But I'm glad you joined me for today. I'm glad that you've listened to me ramble. Because this is a lot of rambling. This is a lot of stream of consciousness. Less structured topic and more, I have things on my mind, and I don't know, maybe people are watching, maybe people aren't. I haven't seen anything show up in the chat, so there's that. So I might just be talking to myself. And that's the thing. That last thing is kind of... It's been hitting me harder and harder for a while. Not being able to get people in chat. Not getting views on my videos on YouTube. Not getting much interaction, like on my posts that I do put up. And finding my corner of the internet smaller and smaller and smaller. And I'm not trying to be, I guess, depressing, but it's getting hard. It's getting really hard. I don't know. As it gets harder and harder, I find it harder to turn the camera on. I want to make art, and I want to share my world with you. You know, I want to write stories, and I want to share them with the world too, but it's getting harder to think about releasing a story when I consider the possibility that almost no one is ever going to read it. So there is all of what I have to say for the day. I'm going to call it good, but I do want to say I really love coming back and spending this time with everyone. I really love drawing and making and feeling like I'm putting something into the world. So to kind of spin backwards onto everything I was saying, but really to emphasize something that I'm incredibly grateful for, I'm grateful that I can do this. I'm grateful that I can create and draw and paint and write and sing silly songs on videos when people find it fun. Or, you know, just put everything out there and make music for my introductions for these videos. And all of the different things that I do. Oh my goodness. We're in a time that being able to have the privilege to do that is something spectacular. And I have the privilege to do that. To share that. And to be that. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. Thank you for joining me for this video, this drawing, this stream. And check out my website. Follow me over on Instagram or Twitter. Subscribe to me on YouTube. I'll see you all again in the future. Take care. Be excellent. And I will see you all again really soon.